Hello, hello, my green skins. Part 2, the Dollars Trilogy. And what can I say about the Dollars Trilogy other than the fact that we got a helicopter above me and my air conditioner's on? It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? Okay, so can this movie, a few dollars more, actually improve on perfection? Well, let's just say perfection can be improved upon. And this movie's a great example of it. What an amazing movie. And so let's break her down. First, we'll start with the music. So, what can we say about the music in this movie? Probably considered one of the best movie music soundtracks of all time. See, a good soundtrack is awesome music that you'll listen to every once in a while. A great soundtrack works perfectly with the film. And this is a great soundtrack. Some of the greatest scenes, like quite a few of the scenes. One of the better scenes is the scene where El Indio will be. He has a moment where he's sitting there and he's preparing to shoot somebody, and he flips open this watch, and you hear the music playing in the background. Bing, boom, 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 and it's perfect. The pitch and then the music when it hits when it hits the organs. Well done, well done, amazing musical score. It just rises. It's one of the best ones. Perfect, damn near perfect. I would say, yeah. I mean, blows it out of the water. I think it's the same guy who did the first one, if I remember correctly. I'll have to look into it again. For some reason, my brain is not registering for some reason. All right, yeah, good music. One of the best out there. Next, let's get to the actors. Well, you have yourself Clint Eastwood, of course, which he does a great role in this, playing Mako again from the original movie. And the other one that we have that's there's quite a few people from the original movie that come in. Actually, I think there's 3 people, maybe even 4. But then you have, for the big bad villain, El Indio, is Gillian Marina Valatorre. I hope I said that name. By the way, amazing acting in this movie. And last we have Lee Van Cleef, which I looked into the guy a little bit. 170 films this guy was in his career. 170! That's amazing. Like, wow. Holy fuck. And you get a lot of the original cast, and it's quite good. Like, wow, is it a good cast. And again, this is one of those movies, I know they have a lot of stereotypes in this movie that for Westerns, like the whole eye movements and body language and stuff. But sometimes that's better done than most. And this one, it's really well done. And works perfectly for the movie. And the actors and the acting in this is so well done. Especially Gillian is the guy who does El Indio is so good in this fucking movie. If you want to know how to play chaotic evil in a D&D game, watch this guy. This guy has some of the best chaotic evil, like, because a lot of people, when they play chaotic evil, it's this, like, oh, I murder the village, burn it down to the ground, piss everybody off, and have the whole party get chased. No, this guy is smart. This guy is evil alignment, but he's evil alignment done right. And evil alignment done right can be terrifying. And this guy, in some ways, is terrifying. He has the charisma, and most people aren't going to follow a chaotic evil person. This guy has charisma. One of my favorite scenes in this movie, which are going to be a lot, I'm going to be bringing up. My favorite scene is with El Indio, and he's actually preaching in this, they take over this old church after murdering somebody, and he goes up on the altar and preaches to the crowd, to the bad guys, and he does it in such a clever way. It's so well done and so brilliant. I think he was the one of the best things in this movie. Like, the other cast members are amazing in this. Clint Eastwood is amazing. But a good villain is always good. Colonel Douglas Mortimer, Lee Van Kite is amazing in this. Well done. And the supporting cast was also fun. Even the little kid. I usually don't like kids. This kid was a little bastard, and I liked him. I really did like him in this one because he was such a little bastard. But I enjoyed watching him play out the roles. There's so much good acting in this movie. They did such a great job overall, and so probably some of the best acting I've seen in a movie, let alone a spaghetti western. Now we come to the scene work, and in this movie has amazing scene work. Absolutely amazing. From, like I said, that scene where he's preaching to the choir, to the scene where they have Clint Eastwood walks into a bar to kill somebody, to wipe out they're showing like them being bounty killers. Him and Douglas Mortimer, Lee Van Cleef. I hope I'm saying that name right. They have scenes where they're killing people, but I like how Clint Eastwood, he walks into a bar and literally plays cards, just grabs cards and just plays cards in front of everybody like when someone's playing poker. He doesn't even sit down. He just sits there and does this. And it's so well fucking done. And, you know, and like the scene where he's like talking to the sheriff, that's such a good scene where he's like, so isn't a sheriff supposed to be brave, strong, daughterly, and all this other stuff? He's like, yeah. And he just kind of rips the fucking sheriff badge from him, walks over and just throws it at the guy's hat, you new sheriff, and walks away. It's so good. The scene work in this is fucking amazing. And so next we're going to be getting to the story. And this is an interesting story. This movie starts with a quote. And that quote is an interesting one. I'll put it up right now. And basically kicks off the music to this. It starts off with, actually, funny thing is, Clint Eastwood isn't until a little bit later. You see Lee Van Cleef basically starting off his story arc. And he basically being the badass that he is, like, oh yeah, the train doesn't stop here. Oh, the train stops for me. And he basically stops the train, emergency stops the train, walks off the train. I did get off, thanks, bye. It just kind of leaves. It's it's just kind of badass moment after badass moment. There are so many badass moments in here. So he's a bounty hunter, and he's out killing bounties, kind of being the man in black, basically. And he's wiping out some bounties. And then we cut to our main big bad, LL in Indio. They basically break him out of jail. The bad guy, his buddies, his gang breaks him out of jail. And upon breaking him out, he starts the planning. And he starts the death of he kills somebody almost right off the hop. And then from there, he just keeps moving on and on and on with his destruction carnage. And the way he acts, and some of his acting in this is so well done. It's so brilliant. Like, I can't stress enough, his acting in this as the bad guy is like true chaotic evil. It's perfect. Like, one of my favorite scenes is after he kills a guy using the whole duel. He kills a guy, sits down, and he wants a smoke. It's almost like it's orgasmic to him to murder this guy who he just had his entire family murdered. He's such a badass and evil character. It's so well done. And I'm sad he wasn't in the third movie, to be honest. I wish we had him in the third. Oh well, anyway. We have, we have him end up breaking out of jail, which has Colonel Douglas Mortimer basically, I apologize. He finds out that, oh yeah, he's been released. And now that he's released, it's like, well, this pisses him off. Really pisses him off. And that starts the hunt. And from there to a bank heist to one of the greatest duels in movie history, period. It's up there with the next movie we'll be talking about. And it ends with one of the best scenes and a funny little line about adding wrong. And there we go. I don't want to go too much details in this because this movie does have a lot of good details. It is a basic revenge story in a lot of ways. And a very aggressive story. I will warn people, there is a scene in this movie that's a little aggressive. It's not like, Italian horror bad. It's not like the exploitation films that came out of Italy, but there is a little bit of an aggressive scene. And be forewarned, there's an aggressive scene. But it's not a horror. It's not as bad as what came out of Italy at the time. So yeah, that's the story. It's an amazing story. It's an amazing story due to the acting and the actors in the movie. What am I giving this movie? What's this rating? Oh, I'm giving it a 9.5. It's epic. It's epic. It's great. It's so fucking good. It's one of those things where if you're a man, you should watch this movie. At least once in your life. Like there are movies out there that have to be watched if you're a man. At least once. And doesn't necessarily guarantee that you'll get to see them all, because then you'd be the ultimate man. But, you can get a couple out. This movie's amazing. This movie's epic. This movie's awesome. Go watch this fucking movie. It's that good. So, I'd like to subscribe. And now we're going to move on to a next little bit. Just kind of talk about the dollar story a little bit. I kind of want to leave it at the end. So so if people don't want to be spoiled and watch the movie, they just go watch the movie. This thing about this movie that kind of makes me wonder, is The Good, the Bad, the Ugly a continuation of the Dollars trilogy? I would say no. I mean, how much money, Mako gets at the end of this movie is stupid. It's 22,000, apparently, including the money. It would be even more, because technically he would get like another amount of money just for that. And then he's got all the other bounty guys if he wants to go get those guys' bodies. Like, that's a lot of money. Like, in Western times, like, what is that, a couple million nowadays? That's insane if you count in interest. I don't think so. Although I have a theory. And my theory is that Joe Mako stole the money from America. And he secretly hid it somewhere. And at the end of the first movie, he stole that money. Now, the second movie, he's got the money stashed away. He can't touch it right now. And then we fast forward, and then we get to the next movie, and then you get the information. That's my theory. I don't know if people like that theory, but that's my theory on the matter. I think that's the only way to link the Dollars trilogy properly. Otherwise, you can't link them at all, and it should just be called the Dollars Saga and have the two movies. And then not put Good, Bad, the Ugly in the third. Because technically, I don't think they're the same character. I don't know. That's my continuity brain kicking in. And that's what I think. But I'd like to subscribe if you actually Want to hear more and want to hear me talk about the last movie in the Dollar Saga? Please leave a comment. And yeah, see you guys on the next one.